Hi, my name is Dr. Frank A. Thomas, and I have a spiritual vitamin, especially for all of my young listeners tonight. All of my young listeners tonight. And you can define young by however you want to, but all of my young listeners tonight. I want to say to you that while many people are focusing on building a career, rightfully so, it takes a long time to build a life. I notice, particularly in the younger generations, we want it now. We want it fast. We want it in a hurry. We want to get it quick. And what I've experienced in my life is it takes a long time. It takes a very long time. So this is how I say it, and let me try to explain it. I believe that you do not come to know what you believe until you're 60. But if you don't start working on what you believe in your 20s, you won't get there when you're 60 because it takes a long continuum of lifetime of experience. What I do in these teachings is to give and offer the benefit of the experience that I've had with God and with people. I earned this experience. I earned what I offer you, but there's stripes on it. If I would take my shirt off, you'd see stripes on my back. The knowledge that I offer did not come cheap or did not come free. I made a lot of mistakes. One of the things that I've learned that I want to share with you is it takes a long time to build a life. It doesn't come quick and fast and in a hurry. You have to pay dues. You have to suffer sometimes. You have to sacrifice. You have to do without. You have to struggle. That's all a part of it. Do you know that we don't appreciate things that we don't struggle for? So you know that, of course, that Warren Buffett gave, the majority of his fortune to charity. I don't know exactly why, but my estimation was that he was careful that unless we earn it, we don't appreciate it. And that when we're left inheritance and left things that we did not have to sweat for and sacrifice for, we don't know the real value of it. So this life that I'm leading now is by blood, sweat, sacrifice, hanging in there, dedication, going forward, taking a step back, making mistakes, suffering, keeping going, trusting God, believing, going. And I've built a life. So I used to say that if I, in whatever little place that I am, whatever assignment I have, will do the very best. Let me say it like Martin Luther King said it. If you're going to be a street sweeper, be the best street sweeper the world has ever seen. He said, sweep streets so that people will walk by and say, this person sweeps streets like Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel in Rome. Which means it's the little things. It's the attention to detail. It's the being faithful when nobody's looking. It's the long hours when everybody's gone home. It's the sacrifice. So we don't go out and we don't buy a big house and get in debt. We stay in a little house and we build our cash. And when we build our cash, then we move as our cash and we watch our debt and we focus on the kids and we sacrifice and we do it slowly across time and we appreciate what we're doing, we appreciate God and we appreciate one another. It takes time to build a life, it takes time. We're too much in a hurry. We want it fast. We want to be big now. Big is in now. Everybody wants to be big. Everybody wants to find the next invention like Apple, and who's the next Steve Jobs, and that's all right. But there's a whole lot of little people, street sweepers, custodians, cooks, maids, people who clean houses, a lot of little people that make a whole lot of big people look good. I want you to tell you that the reward is in God. The reward is not in money. The reward is not in the square foot of your house. The reward is not in your title or your position, and all those are good things. Strive for them if you want, but just ultimately know that the only reward in life is in Christ, is in God. The song says, only what you do for Christ will last. Remember that song? They don't sing that much. They're so busy singing praise songs now. They don't sing. I grew up, they said, only what you do for Christ will last. Only what you do for him will be counted at the end. So build your life. Do the fundamentals. Take it slow. Be faithful. Do the right thing. Pray. Serve God. Be faithful. Be kind to people. Say please and may I and thank you. Don't be arrogant or rude. And you'll build a life. Can I tell you what would be the greatest joy in my life? Someday I'm going to leave here. I'm going to die. And I'm going to have probably a homegoing service. And you know what I want most of all? I want my children and my wife to stand up and say, my daddy was a good man. My daddy served God faithfully. You know what that would mean to me? For my children and my wife. Now I know y'all, a lot of y'all want $1 million. I know y'all want to be a gazillionaire. I know you want to ride around in Mercedes, and I know you want to do all that. That's wonderful. What I want is for my children and my wife to stand up and say, our father was a good man. So let me stop. It's emotional. Sorry, but that's what I want. And God bless you. And let me tell you that we have a Periscope call every Monday morning at 8:30. Join us live. We talk about preaching. I want you to know that every week we load up a spiritual vitamin on SoundCloud. I want you to know on Monday we upload a teaching, a wonderful video teaching on preaching. And on Friday we load up Living Your Passion from the Inside Out. What do you want most in life? When you leave here, what do you want people to stand up and say? I would just be so blessed if my children and my wife would stand up and say, our daddy loved God and loved us, and he was a good man. That's more than gold. God bless you, and I'll see you next week.